Warriors! It's Coach JB, your top health, crypto, and mindset coach in the world. And what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And I wanted to go live. There's so much news coming out. That was such a amazing, stressful weekend, right? Great price appreciation. And then also we have something massive going on in the crypto space with the Senate. So there's news coming out right now as we speak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you how damn confusing this is. I'm going to show you the news that came out and then some new news that just came out. And then we're going to watch a 20-minute video if you want to hang out and watch this with us from Senator Tomey talking about what's happening and what needs to happen in the crypto space. So welcome, everybody. This is live. I just want to jump on. My son had his first day of school today, which was exciting. So working from home, and we'll be back in the facility tomorrow. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off, Warriors. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go through some fun stuff. A lot of exciting news out here happening. So let's go over here. So sharing my screen, take a look at this, guys. So Senate advances infrastructure bill without amending crypto provision. So this was the first news that came out. Let's look at the time here. So this was August 9th, 2021, 7:59 a.m. It says Senate advances infrastructure bill without amending crypto provision. The Senate could still adopt the amendment to crypto provision through unanimous consent, but it would require every senator to agree. The U.S. Senate voted to advance the $1 trillion infrastructure bill without amending a provision that broadens cryptocurrency tax reporting requirements. The provision seeks to enforce stronger information, reporting rules, and tax purposes for crypto industry by ensuring that any brokers that report transaction data to the Internal Revenue Service. However, it also broadens the definition of broker. Here's where the problem came in, okay? To the point where critics of the provision believe miners, node validators, and even developers who create cryptocurrency might qualify. Critics also argued the inability to comply with new tax regulations can make it difficult, if not impossible, for these kinds of business to operate in the US. So think about what's happening right now, Warriors. If you look at all the different countries that use Ripple XRP, all of them think it's a cryptocurrency. The only one that is fighting to say it's a security is America. There's something weird going on here, Warriors. Think about this. If this was to go through, this would completely stifle innovation in America for cryptocurrency when other countries are advancing rapidly in the cryptocurrency space. So there's one of two things happening. Either they just got their head up their ass, or they really want to crush America. Think about that for just a moment. They're either trying to collapse this, or they generally don't know what the hell is going on, or they just want to crush America. Because if this was to actually go through and it would crush innovation in cryptocurrency, we got the SEC lawsuit with Ripple. So imagine a world if the SEC won the lawsuit against Ripple and it's deemed a security. And then this actually went through. Imagine what would happen to cryptocurrency in America. It would completely destroy the fabric of America and our innovation. So I don't think it's going to happen unless it's completely nefarious behind the scenes. Okay, so that came out. The Senate advances infrastructure bill without amending crypto provisions. U.S. Senate bill threatens cryptocurrency industry that moves forward. The U.S. Senate is currently moving forward with a version of the President Biden's infrastructure bill that spells bad news for crypto. But then all of a sudden, I'm paying attention to news. This is what we do all day, me and my research team. Senators reach compromise on crypto tax provision. This came out at 8:53. So this news came out at 7:59, and this great news came out at 8:53. Now we're going to read this together. I'm just breaking this news down as well. So this is Senators reach compromise on crypto tax provision and infrastructure bill. So talk about a damn emotional roller coaster. U.S. Senate Cynthia Loomis, Pat Tomey, if I say that incorrect, I apologize, announced a compromise involving Democrat, Republicans, and Treasury Department over a contentious tax provision in the Senate's infrastructure bill on Monday that would exempt crypto transaction validators from broadened definition of broker. The full text of the compromise was not immediately available, but Toomey said it would specify who has tax reporting obligations within the digital asset sector. Software developers, node operators, and validators would not be required to carry or report transaction information, but brokers would be. We are not proposing anything sweeping or anything radical, the compromise, makes it clear that the broker means only the persons that conduct transactions where the consumers buy, sell, and trade digital assets, Tommy said in a press conference Monday. Okay, so let's take a look here. So let's go into the press conference. Thank you to one of the Warriors that actually posted this in the Facebook group. So if you choose to, it's going to be a longer video, but I feel that we should watch this all together, and I will stop and narrate some of it. The reason I'm doing that is just for copyright. I'm going to narrate some of this stuff. So basically I am narrating this video, YouTube. Okay, so we're going to watch what Tommy says. It's a 20-minute video, so we're going to stick around. We're going to listen to the whole thing. But what we're listening to right now, Warriors, is history in the making. This gentleman is fighting for us to reframe the word broker. But one thing you really got to think about, Warriors, and why you need to stand up for yourself is because of shit like this. This bill got put through the infrastructure bill. Thank God people sit down and read this stuff, because it was line number 2,447 or something like that, where this little tiny verbiage was changed in the word broker. And one of these amazing senators was looking at it and saying, no, this is not correct. Because if that would have slipped through, it would have destroyed the fabric of the infrastructure of America. Because think about this. All other countries are innovating. All other countries are moving quickly and efficiently towards blockchain technology. In America, for some reason, and I'm trying to figure this out, comment below, let me know what you think. For some reason, America is putting the brakes on this for some reason. Either they're getting set up for something really big. I don't know what it is, Warriors, but what I do know is if there's this much pressure on something, we are so unbelievably early, and the price appreciation when this all goes through and gets fixed is going to be undescribable. In my opinion, not a financial advisor. That's why I'm heavily weighted in crypto, but I also have a very strict game plan outside of crypto as well. This is a moment in time where some of us can build generational wealth for generation after generation. So let's watch this video together.
Good morning, everybody. I am delighted to announce that we've reached a bipartisan agreement that includes Democrats, Republicans, members of the Senate, and the Treasury Department on an issue that had been vexing us for a while. I want to thank the co-sponsors of an amendment that I will be filing as soon as the Senate opens today. The co-sponsors on the amendment will be Senators Warner, Senator Lummis, Senator Portman, and Senator Sinema. And I want to take a moment to say I really appreciate the very constructive work that Senator Wyden has done along the way as we have wrestled with this issue. I think it's fair to say there's a very broad, maybe even a universal agreement that centralized digital asset exchanges behaving as brokers should be required to report transactions just like other kinds of brokers already do. The underlying text of the bipartisan infrastructure bill attempts to do this, but it does it in a way that we believe is significantly flawed. See, the current text would ensnare people and companies and impose reporting requirements, transaction reporting requirements on those to whom it should not apply, and in some cases to those who couldn't possibly even obtain the information. For example, crypto transaction validators, people who write software code who have no further involvement with its application. And I think an analogy that might be helpful is think about Merrill Lynch. We impose reporting requirements on the transactions that are executed by a broker like Merrill Lynch, but we don't provide any such reporting requirements on the electric company that provides electricity to Merrill Lynch's office.
So think about that. I mean, that's the type of stuff that got put into this bill, Warriors. I mean, something that said it would completely destroy innovation. Now, why would they do that? Like, we got to really think about that. Why would they do that? You got to really think. Why? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to go, I go deep. Why would they change that? And why would they want everybody to be brokers? It's expensive to become a broker, Warriors. There's a lot of regulation you have to go through.
Or the internet provider that the broker uses. So we came together to provide greater clarity on the rules for who are the actual brokers of a cryptocurrency. We're not proposing anything sweeping or anything radical. Our solution makes clear that a broker means only those persons who conduct transactions on exchanges where consumers buy, sell, and trade digital assets. It ensures that the bill does not sweep in software developers, crypto transaction validators, node operators, or other non-brokers. People who owe any tax from cryptocurrency transactions should pay their tax obligation. And if you're actually a crypto broker, you should turn that information over. Our amendment would require that, but the reporting requirements should only apply to the intermediaries. Now, I think it's fair to say that none of us think that this is an absolutely perfect solution, but it is much better than the underlying text. And there's another point that I think is important to make, and that is this space is changing very, very rapidly. You know, a year from now, there will be all kinds of new innovations that we haven't thought of, that probably nobody's thought of. And we may very well have to go back and revisit the rules. But what we shouldn't do is have an overly broad mandate, a reporting requirement on people who can't possibly comply. And we don't want to favor or punish any particular platform design or validation mechanism. And we certainly don't want to stifle the innovation that's happening in this space. There's still time to...
So this should let you know, Warriors, it's coming. The cryptocurrency is not a fraud. They know it's coming. Look how much focus is being spent on this, Warriors. It is becoming their main focal point as this whole economic shifts. The whole economic, it's all shifting, Warriors. It's so happening so fast. It's going to come so quick. And you got to be ready for this, Warriors. You got to be ready.
Adopt this amendment before final passage of this bill. And I'll be urging my colleagues to join in this bipartisan effort to fix this error. And let me turn this over to Senator Lummis and thank her for her leadership in this whole space.
Thank you, Senator Toomey. I so appreciate the work that you've done on this within the Banking Committee and working with your colleagues on the Finance Committee. You have exhibited, a degree of knowledge and leadership about this subject that is such a new subject to so many people in the U.S. Senate. And so I'm really grateful that you stepped in and have been so significant to this effort. It's been a long process with a lot of back and forth. Senator Wyden has also just been exceptionally involved in this. Senator Toomey, Senator Portman, Warner, and Sinema have worked really hard to try to get to the point that we are at today. I want to point out that Chairman Wyden's done a lot to protect technology innovators. And while at this point he's not signed on to this amendment, he does agree that this is a big step in the right direction to protect financial innovation. He would like us to go farther. And so I'm certainly encouraged by the fact that he sees the importance of innovation in this space and is so uniquely positioned to help all of us going forward. As Senator Toomey just said, this space is moving so fast. The innovation is occurring at such a rapid rate that we probably will have to revisit a lot of these subjects within the next 12 months. We also want to put out some legislation that sets some definitions in this space. So the fact that Treasury got a jump on us in trying to define broker in this bill has put us in a position where we're starting that work now of defining terms that are used in this space that have a significant impact on those who are innovating in this space. We can't afford to get this wrong. We need to ensure that people aren't trying to avoid taxes by sheltering their money in digital assets, but we have to do it in a way that doesn't stifle innovation. So this amendment is an effort to thread that needle for now as a compromise with Treasury, but we've got a lot more work to do.
Okay, so what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, so at first it was passed through, but now they've gained a compromise. So from what we're hearing, we're just kind of learning all this together, which is huge, Warriors. This is huge. So they're threading the needle, they're compromising, but they're telling us right now that the digital assets we're invested in are about to explode because the public is watching this. All the people who are saying cryptocurrency is a fraud, all these baby boomers are watching the news and going, this is on Fox News, going, oh my God, like this stuff is really, really coming. And once that gate opens, Warriors, that's going to be massive price appreciation. We have $100 trillion market and only about just under 2 trillion in the crypto space.
To ensure that we have the appropriate regulatory and statutory sandbox, so we have parameters in which this industry can innovate and understand the rules of the road, but by the same token, we are not stifling their innovation, because China and other countries are way, way ahead of the United States in the digital asset space. We have to maintain our financial innovation superiority around the world. And right now in this space, the digital space, we're behind. So the last thing we want to do is further cripple when we need to advance and take over this as the world leader in financial innovation.
Okay, so that's the part that confuses me, right? You got half these centers saying we need to take over in world financial innovation, and then the rest of them say we need to take our time. Like these types of, like, who put that wording in there? That's the stuff that bothers me. Like, who put that wording in there? There's somebody out there that wants to stop this from happening, and we all know. But it's like, man, America, we got to get ready, Warriors. This is why you have to get ready to gain freedom. In the Great Depression, 1921, there's 1929, two types of people. The poorest people in the world came out, and the richest people in the world, the people who invested in innovation.
So the Senate has the opportunity to set the stage for successful implementation of digital assets into our financial system. But I can't emphasize enough the importance of getting it right here. We have a great opportunity going forward. The silver lining behind all of this debate and discussion is that we found out who in the Senate is interested in this subject, who maybe previously didn't know anything about it. In fact, I gave a book to one of my colleagues, and I ran into him in the parking lot this morning, and he said, "Hey, I'm reading your book on digital assets." So we're making progress already, Senator Toomey. And we have found people who either want to learn, or because this digital asset industry mobilized on social media to lobby in a very positive, respectful way.
Good for you guys. Do you hear what she's saying right now? We as the people, we had thousands of Warriors out there reaching out to their senators in a respectful way. Good job, Warriors. We're rising up, not being disrespectful. We're not rioting. We're reaching out to our senators saying, hey guys, listen, this is here to stay. We want to help us out. That she's telling us right now, you guys are respectful. You're Warriors. You're here for freedom. This is awesome.
We finally were able to illustrate to members of the Senate that there are a lot of people that are interested in digital assets, working in some aspect of digital assets, and now have contact with their U.S. senators and can begin a dialogue with them about what they're trying to accomplish and how the U.S. Senate, how Congress can help them innovate, have appropriate regulation, but not stifle them. So in some ways, regardless of how this turns out, it's been a very positive exercise. So I want to thank the digital asset community all over this country for the manner in which they have so helpfully engaged in this dialogue. They have gone a long way to letting their senators know how important this is, that this industry is innovating, that they want to interface with the fiat economy in a way that incorporates them and allows them to interface, but doesn't stifle them. So all things considered, this has been a very positive exercise for people who are in the cryptocurrency and digital asset space. I think you're going to see the interest of the U.S. Senate grow leaps and bounds as a result of this effort.
congratulate. You should pat yourself on the back, Warriors. I know thousands of Warriors in our community have reached out there. So I had people reaching out to me, and we were giving them the senator's number in the local area, and it was just amazing that you guys did this. We had our video on Friday, and thank you to our Warriors, our research team. Thank you. Look, you guys should pat yourself on the back. Your voice does matter in this, Warriors.
As you know, Senator Sinema and I months ago had founded the Financial Innovation Caucus, and I think our membership is going to grow as a result of this, and we'll have more impetus to go forward, define, and regulate in an appropriate way that recognizes that the future is in digital assets. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Senator Lewis, since you do chair that Financial Innovation Panel, what do you think the viability is of digital assets? Are we going to eventually over-regulate it and stifle its growth? I know that this measure is supposed to preclude that, but long term, do you think it'll catch on?
I do believe that long term it will catch on. I believe there are so many innovators in the United States right now. Since China kicked out the Bitcoin miners, allegedly because of energy production, but we all know it's because they don't want the competition for the digital yuan. They want their currency, which is not transparent on the blockchain, but that allows them access to the information on how the digital yuan is being used. We want to make sure that if there is a digital dollar, or if stable coin becomes the standard for the fiat currency world, and that the non-fiat currency world can grow and interface with the fiat currency world, that you'll have sort of the best of both worlds. It will allow the non-banked to participate in the economy, just as we've seen people in El Salvador do. And it will also allow people to use it as a store of value. So I'm optimistic. I think that there's so much energy and excitement and innovation in that space. It's almost like when the internet first started, we're seeing this exponential growth. And so I'm very excited about this space, and I think that there's a lot to commend its very positive future in the United States.
Yeah, I just want to add, I think the most exciting potential in this whole space are going to be the apps that we haven't thought of yet. But the fact that a mechanism has been invented to validate transactions without a trusted intermediary, to do it through a distributed ledger mechanism, is going to change whole industries, I think. And I think it's too powerful for even someone, if they were inclined to try to stop it. I think it's going to be too powerful to stop, and it'd be a very bad idea to try to stop.
Did you hear that? He said it's too powerful to stop, and it's a bad idea to stop. You're investing in the best digital assets in the world.
For both senators, if this amendment is included in the package, would you guys vote for final passage of the infrastructure bill? And also, secondly, do you have any concerns about the climate change component that cryptocurrency has?
Well, so her question was about climate change. Are you concerned about the climate change in cryptocurrency?
So two things. For completely unrelated reasons, I will not be supporting the underlying bill. That has nothing to do with this transaction, but for those reasons, I won't be there. You know, the impact on the climate, as you're alluding to, of course, varies enormously depending on the methodology of the validation process. And that's one of the reasons that I don't think we should be picking winners and losers. Tomorrow, we may learn about a whole new mechanism for validating transactions. And because a lot of people care a lot about the climate and the environment, that might very well manifest itself in preferences in some kinds of methodologies over others. I don't think we should be trying to make that choice in this legislation.
Senator Lummis, are you going to support that underlying bill?
I also have problems with the underlying bill. It's scored in a way that it's not fully paid for. But as to the energy consumption component, the climate component. We know from a study at the University of Cambridge that 40% of Bitcoin, which is, as you know, a mine-intensive process and energy-intensive process, 40% of the energy that they use comes from wind and solar and other non-hydrocarbon using processes. So, and that's way higher than the world average. So we have in Wyoming businesses that will pull a trailer up to an oil and gas rig that is venting gas, and they'll hook onto that flume and use it to mine Bitcoin. So we're actually seeing innovations that use energy that's now being wasted. So in some ways, it's turning out to be a benefit in the long-term efficiency of our energy economy.
Yep.
This is a two-part question. Senator Wyden says he still has privacy and security concerns. How do you attempt to address those? And then secondly, does your compromise that you've reached indicate there's an amendment agreement on the overall bill, or how will you get a vote?
Okay, so her thing is, do you still have privacy concerns from that one senator? And does this mean there is a compromise that they just came up with? That's what she asked.
Okay, so Senator Wyden put out a tweet, which you may have seen, and he said, I'll just quote it because it's short. It says, "We've been working hard to get a deal. I don't believe the cryptocurrency amendment language on offer is good enough to protect privacy and security, but it's certainly better than the underlying bill. Majority Leader Schumer says he won't block a unanimous consent request on it." So we're going to make a unanimous consent request. This will be the first time on this bill that I'm aware of where we have had bipartisan Treasury support and both of the lead negotiators all on the bill. So I certainly hope that given the near universal acknowledgement that there is a problem and the fact that we have a bipartisan solution, that enables us to get the vote that we want.
This is great news, Warriors. Great news. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They're trying to flood us.
Do you believe that the ultimate goal is to maybe have the federal government create its own digital currency, just as the dollar is able?
So is this the ultimate goal, to have the U.S. government create its own digital dollar?
Paper currency, and secondly, if I can get your thoughts about after this bill, if it does pass, then we have the $3.5 trillion bill.
So I think the question of a US dollar digital currency is another whole topic, and it's a big topic. And we're going to get a report from the Fed soon on this, and we'll get their thoughts, and we will discuss this in Congress. I do believe that this Fed should not proceed without congressional authorization. I think the chairman of the Federal Reserve has indicated that he's sympathetic to that view. But that's a big topic of conversation. As for the next bill that our Democratic colleagues are going to propose, I think, well, first of all, $3.5 trillion understates the full scale of that bill. It's very, very bad policy, very, very damaging to the economy, and I will vigorously oppose it.
I agree. It's very bad policy. It actually comes in, if you don't use scoring gimmicks, it comes in closer to $5 to $5.5 trillion. So I also will be vigorously opposing it.
Should lawmakers have to disclose their cryptocurrency holdings as a part of their financial disclosures?
So the question is, do lawmakers have to disclose their cryptocurrency holdings?
That should be something that...
My understanding is that is required. The lawmakers have to, every month, we have to disclose every purchase of more than $1,000, I think, irrespective of the kind of asset. If you buy it, you got to disclose it. So that's already a requirement. And we're going to have to go soon, but.
I would ask you a question about the provisions to stop fund fraud. Have you considered before?
I have to tell you, I'm not familiar with them. I've not had a chance to study them. I don't know if you have.
I have not either. Obviously, neither one of us intends to vote for final passage. But my understanding is there are provisions in this bill that would authorize automobile manufacturers to have mechanisms on cars that will not allow them to be driven if someone's over the limit. I don't know how that works, but this bill might pass. In fact, all indications are it will pass, so we might find out.
Last question.
Have you been able to talk to President Biden about like the transformation of cryptocurrency? Because I know President Trump didn't like crypto whatsoever, but you see what happened with China when they try to like downplay our crypto, the stock goes down, like we saw with the Bitcoin in May. Have you gotten knowledge that says to like bring them aware that this could be like an innovation of tomorrow?
So I have not had that conversation with President Biden.
So I couldn't really understand the question. It was something about China and the U.S. Around digital assets. I couldn't understand the question.
I honestly don't know what his views are, but you know, one of the great strengths that we have, it's an enormous advantage over China, is we're a country that respects the rule of law, and they're not. So we see that at the whim of the leader, they can wipe out an industry, they can do whatever they like. We don't allow that in the United States, and that's why Congress needs to step in and make sure we are guiding the administrative state to get to the right answer. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's the end right there, Warriors. So where you can find this, if you go to Fox News, you will see, you can see the video right there if you want to watch it yourself. So just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, guys. I know that was a longer video, but this is exciting. This is exciting news. The things that stood out to me in that, Warriors, is talking about innovation and how excited they are and how the senators are speaking to other senators, sharing information, sharing books. We're in really good position, Warriors. I know this is a kind of a worrisome time around this, but I tell you what, when this does get passed and it gets pushed through with the corrections or amendments or whatever they need, you're going to see some massive price appreciation. I'm still sticking with my prediction of back into September, going into October, and I have a very strict exit strategy. 50% of my portfolio is going to be exited based on exit targets going up, dollar cost averaging out. I'll be staking silver. Buying silver. I'm already buying silver, and then I'll be staking into a stablecoin DIA for residual income, and I'll also be getting into buying corporations. So I'm going to be stacking away from the US dollar, stacking into income producing assets. And one recommendation I have for you is to read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Study it, be obsessed with it, and understand that every single time you earn money, you should be putting it back into an asset generating a cash generating asset. If you continue to do that every single time you get paid, even if you put $10 into an asset that generates money or appreciates, you will see your portfolio change very, very dramatically. All right, Warriors, love you guys very, very much. I'd love to hear your comments. Share this with your family members. This is exciting times, Warriors. I mean, I love this stuff. This is giving me so much purpose and excitement. I do appreciate all you guys. 651 people watching this. If you'd like to join our free Discord, click the link down below, our free Facebook group, or our private Warrior community, access to my portfolio, exit strategy, 120-day challenge on how I live my life, my disciplined life, and the best crypto community in the world. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And as we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.